Well, hello. Happy Friday. It is February 20th. We are having some big energies still today. I hope you guys are hanging in there. And I'm popping on just a little bit early because I'm here and I'm ready. And why not? so, thanks for being flexible this week and for joining me here today. It's so funny. Last week I took off to go to Washington, D.C., and to really just be a part of the monks walk for peace and the culmination there. And gosh, I'm so glad I went. I'm so glad I went. And I have to tell you, it was really funny. We went to, so we got there. We weren't there for their first walk Tuesday morning as they were in the city, but we got to the Washington National Cathedral and we're waiting there. Here's Poppy. You want to say hi to Poppy? Oh, she just gave a big yawn. Hi, sweetie. You gonna lay down? You want to curl up? Uh, so anyway, we got to the Washington National Cathedral, and we're waiting for them to walk there. And I have to tell you that was probably my most favorite day. It was beautiful. The cathedral itself is just stunning, um, and the crowd there was just like slowly gathering, and everybody was in this good mood. It almost felt really festive, if that's a good word to use. And it was really cool because a lot of schools in the Washington area there, we passed a lot on our way to the cathedral, and they all brought the kids, and so we had that youthful energy there too. And it's just, I thought it was so special to share that with them. um, and everybody was just, I don't know how to say, they were friendly as you would expect them to be. And Aloka was there, came up the steps. But you know what I loved about the cathedral is this was the place that they had invited all of the other venerable monks and nuns from anywhere in the world, whoever wanted to come. They invited all of these faith leaders to be there. And so it was just such a beautiful collaboration of souls, all different religions. And I mean, all different religions. The leaders were there, and I thought that was really special. Um, Marianne Booty, she spoke, she led with the first prayer. And I don't know if y'all remember her. She's the Bishop of Washington. She's the first woman ever elected to this position. And she was invited to give the prayer and sermon at the last presidential inauguration. And she got a lot of flack for it because she was really promoting, y'all can see my incense smoking there. She was really promoting to love thy neighbor. And, you know, she she got some messages in there, for the immigrant population, here in this country, and all very supportive. Of course, contrary to what the administration is about, but I love her. And what she led off with was the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. And if you don't know that prayer, most of you do, it's that make me an instrument of your peace. I would say go look it up. It's just well worth reading again. And it might even be something to put out and say every day. So, that whole thing, that whole experience was beautiful. When the head venerable monk started talking, he was talking about meditation and monkey mind. And most of you are probably familiar with that, but that's just where, when we go to meditate, we have all that mind chatter. And he told a story of the monkey going out into the rice paddies. And you could look that up too. But it was just lovely. His presentations are so simple yet inspiring. And you could see a lot of people. I mean, most everybody in the crowd just had this huge smile on their face. It was really cool. So then we left there, the Washington Cathedral, because they were going to end up walking down Massachusetts Avenue down Embassy Row. And so we went ahead and got ahead of them because they were going into the church with all the interfaith leaders. And so my sister and friend Elaine, we all walked down, and we decided to get far along the path so that we could get ahead of the crowd and be able to be, right on the edge of the street. So, and that too, that was so cool. And it was just really ironic that where we decided to stop was across from the Sri Lankan embassy, which it just didn't even occur to me until Elaine said that's the seat of Buddhism, that country. And all of the people in the embassy were out. They were out there decked out in their beautiful garbs, wonderful clothes. They had gifts for the monks. And I mean, it was just really special. So then it's when the monks finally did start coming down, when you look down the street, and here's the row of the 24 that had been walking from Texas. So they were in their line, and then behind them was this massive crowd, and it was all the monks and all the nuns walking behind them. So I mean, I don't know if it was hundreds, I don't know, but it was huge, and it was just so wild to see this like orange wave coming down this huge, avenue. And they stopped at Sri Lanka. Well, kind of because the Sri Lankans just came out into the road, even though the police were trying to keep them back on the side because police didn't really get the connection. But anyway, it was really, really sweet. The head of the embassy had this big gift. They touched foreheads together and said their, greetings. And I mean, the whole thing was really cool. Makes me emotional. Anyway, all right, I'm going to show you too. This is, if you don't know Mary Ann Booty, I'm going to show you a picture of her. You might remember her, seeing her on TV. Okay, and then if y'all joined me on the last YouTube, do you remember I picked this mudra, the Sarasvati? Well, so we're walking down Embassy Row, and we're following the monks, and then we get to a point where they're going somewhere, and we couldn't follow them anymore, so we just had to find our way back to where we were staying. And it's so funny, we were walking down the Embassy Row, and here, look what we passed. Like, we stopped right in front of it. Was Sarasvati, and I was like, oh my gosh, she just showed up on the show. So anyway, her mudra is all about creativity and to stay inspired. And speaking of creativity, it's so interesting that's coming up because when we're in this world today where people are feeling powerless, or we're watching, all of this control out there, it's like the guides have said time and time again that antidote to feeling powerless is to be creative. And so that may be why she's showing up. But I love it. And I just love the synchronicities. And they continued that whole week. Let me see if there was anything else I was going to show you. No. Now, the Lincoln Memorial, that was a little different. So we expected that to be really significant, and it was a little different. The crowd there was entirely different, and I think because everybody had the same thought, it was packed, and there was almost like a desperation to the crowd to get as close as they could or to see. And I mean, people brought stools to stand on over the other people of the crowd. I mean, it was just wild. Um, so it was a totally different experience. I am still so glad I was there, because I do think it was incredibly significant to witness them at the Lincoln Memorial and to see them celebrated for their walk. And I didn't realize the Dalai Lama had sent a letter to them, and the Dalai Lama's niece, who resides in Washington, stood up and read the letter. And that, I thought that was really special. And they are all just so grateful and appreciative. And Anyway, yeah, it was just really neat to be a part of it. So thank you for letting me share that. It's so funny. I still get emotional. Okay, and I hope y'all are still following the monks. Let me get to my questions here. Uh, so I have those handy. I'm still looking at them every day. I am still inspired by their teachings and their demonstrations, and waking up in the morning and not turning to my phone. That's a big deal. And instead really just sitting with my coffee. So anyway, thank you for letting me share. Thank you for being here today. um, I'm going to read the prayer. Hang on here. This is Poppy's favorite part, I think. Let me show you, she's laying down. She's all curled in my lap here. So sweet. Okay, let's read the prayer and jump in and see what kind of good stuff comes through. I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the guides are saying that my intro talking about the monks was plenty to lead off with. And they are excited that that message is out there for everyone. And they're telling me that their message for peace, their message for mindfulness touched more people than we can imagine all over the world. And they appreciate each of you too, that have interest in that and bringing that into your own practice and awareness. So they really did create a huge wave across the world, and they're calling it a wave, not a ripple, but a wave. And it is one that's going to keep going around. It's one that's going to keep expanding. And because of how many people they touched. And they said this is a perfect example of when a collective comes together and is so clear with a message or an intent, how it can reshape things, how it can create energy that becomes bigger and can reshape things. And the guides are saying, each of you has the ability to do the very same thing, which I think is lovely. And the monks really, not only did they bring us that message of, how important our breath is and how to always come back to our breath, because without it, we wouldn't be here. And that really is the most important thing. And not only did they remind us of that, they reminded us of how we can be when we are really clear with our own intent. So, and I will tell you this, because I see somebody's question there. It's really funny. Y'all know I've been sick like November, December, January with all this stuff going on. So I'm driving home from Virginia and I got a stomach bug and I had to pull over and get a hotel. Like I couldn't even drive the first hour. And so I've been getting over that too. And it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on with all the health stuff? And all I keep hearing is, because this was all before the Lunar New Year, was a real purge, a real cleansing, just a real releasing and resetting, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and before the Lunar New Year kicked in. So we'll get to your question here live. And see if there's anything in particular for you too. But I am really thinking it's all behind me now. So here we are in the Lunar New Year. Thank goodness. Still a lot of big energies to come. The first Mercury retrograde starts next week, so y'all be mindful of that. Um, and if you're really feeling some shakeups in your life, I would tell you this: look up 3 things. Just Google or ask your Chat GPT, or if you'd use that. Um, Saturn in Aries for your sign. Look up Neptune in Aries for your sign, and then Uranus in Gemini for your sign, because all 3 of those things are extremely significant right now, and they're impacting each of us in a different way. So if you're really feeling like, my gosh, the ground is moving beneath me, just Google those 3. Because they're the 3 major ones, and just see how it's impacting you in particular. We also have Aquarius at 28 degrees. I think, is that in Aries? I can't remember. Anyway, I had to look that up the other day. Where does it fall in your chart? Oh, Saturn in Aquarius at 28 degrees, I think. Look up that in your chart if I'm right. Let me see here. I'm so appreciative of y'all just letting me look up these little things while we talk. 28 degrees here. This was a big one too. Yeah, just look up 28 degrees Aquarius and where it falls in your chart. Mine falls in my 6th house. What is it? It was like hang on here. Falls in my 6th house where spirituality becomes practical, but it also involves health and healing in this house for me too, which of course that's right on track, isn't it? All right. I am just rambling today. Can you tell? It's good to be back. So I'm going to hop into some questions, and then we'll jump in here. Okay. I feel as though my professional confidence has taken a big hit these past few months. I can't seem to bounce back. I've been very emotional about these challenges in my career, and I'm hoping you can shed some light on what's going on and what I can do to help ease my mind. Are the decisions I've made ones that were wrong in the past? Do I just need to be patient? I have seen some messages of assurance from my guides, but maybe I'm misinterpreting or not seeing everything. Feeling lost. Would appreciate any clarity you can share. You know, it's interesting. The guides would say there's a lot of uncertainty right now in general. And so part of that uncertainty is like kind of spilling out into, our own personal experiences. And so, what the guide said is, we are in a time right now that we are really being guided to revisit our identity. Some of us more so than others, but really all of us. We are in a time where we're witnessing a lot of change in the world. Change how things operate, how things have been for hundreds of years. And this is the guide saying this, not me. And so, in this, now that's a ripple effect. And for each of us individually, we are being asked to look at our identities and how do we want to be here, and what really aligns with me and what doesn't. And, the year of the fire horse, that fire horse energy is all about choice. And it's like, it is time to choose. And it's not here to play small, and it's not here to go slow. And so it is a time for you to choose your freedom, so to speak. Freedom is really us being here how we want to be here. That's really what freedom is. And so for you that asked this question, the guides are saying, you've been doing things the same way, the same way, the same way. And that's not a good or bad thing. However, there's this uncertainty in here now. And instead of being in that position where maybe you feel powerless, that somebody else is dictating your position in the company, whether you stay or go, or promoted or not, they said, take that power back and really think, how do you want to be here? Do you really want to be at this job anymore? And they said, once you really rekindle with that intention you have, things will start shifting for you. But this is about you having clarity on what you want to do, how you want to be here, and it's really about you getting in touch with that. And say if you want to do something entirely different, but the job is necessary, then you can have gratitude for the job because it can provide for you to explore other things in your, downtime or your free time. But this, they said, is more about you being in touch with that and you coming to that real resonance within of how you want to be here in life. Because this is your life, this is your journey, this is your soul on a path. And you can't be on the wrong path. To answer that question, none of us can. We never get off path. We may take detours, or it may take us longer to get to what our soul wants to experience, yet the guides will always use every step we take on the path to lead us and bring us into the experiences we're meant to have. And it's often through the detours that we really attain our wisdom, if that makes sense. Let me see here. And then confidence taking a big hit the past few months, being emotional about your challenges in your career. Again, this feels more like you giving your power to others and what they say matters. And instead of really trusting like that you're damn good at your job and you know that. And it's like, get back into that place of power and decide, you know what? You have value. You bring value to what you're doing and to where you're working. And that's the piece you have to remember. Like, get to that place where you're so good at what you do that you contribute more than you probably even get paid for, and that your value is really worth something. And, write your resume. Write down all the accomplishments. That's a wonderful, kind of trick to remind yourself, like, wow, I've really done a lot and I do a lot. Yet for you, it's about getting back to your power and realizing your worth and that you bring a lot to the table. And if the alignment is kind of changing where you are, that's a sign to look elsewhere, and that it's time for you to move and grow and expand into something else and to go where you feel wanted and valued, if that makes sense. But a lot of that I'm hearing is coming from within, and it's time for you to take your power back. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Somebody said, do you appreciate my rambling? Okay, good. Thank you. I'm in a rambling mood today. Um, okay, here's the next question. This is cool. Growing up, my mother always said, be careful what you ask for. This always struck me as ominous, even as a child. As a result, I have been reluctant or even anxious about hoping for or wanting anything because it will be bad in ways I can't anticipate. What's a good way to counter this? Ooh, be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you wish for, right? What is a good way to counter this? That's a great question. Let's see what the guides say. Okay. Well, it's clear your mother had attached a fear to that as if it was a warning. I mean, be careful. That's a warning. Um, the guides are saying just flip the words a little bit or change the words a little bit. Be hopeful for what you wish for. And start saying that in your mind. Hang on here. I'm seeing there's something else here and I haven't quite grabbed it yet, so hang on here. Okay, here. The other thing is the universe is capable And this you well know of delivering more than you can even imagine or know that you even want. And so they're showing me it's like a person with their arms wide open and got their wish out there. And then they've thrown their wish out, and the universe is granting this wish, but it's so much the person can't hold it. And then it feels too big, too much. That's kind of what that, be careful what you wish for, because a lot can come. And so, what the guides are saying is first tell yourself that you are ready to receive whatever and however much the universe wants to deliver, and that you know you are tapped in and aligned with the abundance of the universe in whatever fashion that may be. And they want you to have that image of you with your arms out ready to receive, and the universe sending all this to you. And instead of it overpowering you, they want you to see yourself growing and expanding and your arms getting bigger, like you can hold as much as the universe wants to send. And so it is a little bit of a work to get over that. And they said to say, be careful what you wish for, because it's going to be really awesome. It's going to be bigger than you can imagine. Make sure you're ready. And they say that not as it's a warning, but as a wow, see yourself being ready and capable to receive all that can come. So they would say, be hopeful for what you wish for. The other thing they would say is be careful what you wish for, because it's going to be awesome and it's coming in an abundance that you've never seen before. And they also said to be excited for what you wish for. And so find those words in there that feel really good to you, that feel resonant, instead of the word careful. The only thing else they're saying is be careful what you wish for, or I must be careful for what I wish for because I care so much. And just acknowledge that caring, and that you do want to receive from the universe in a caring and wise, grounded way. So it is true. When we wish for things, the universe is like, all right, we're on it. Here you go. And can send it tenfold. And so it's really, the universe is always going to send more than you think you really want or need. And that can frighten people. And so instead of being afraid of abundance, be excited for it and acknowledge that you're ready to manage this kind of abundance, whatever it might be, if it's, money or love or health or whatever it might be. What a great question. And this would be something, yeah, as you think of it during the day, repeat it in your mind, repeat it in your mind. Okay. All right, my husband and I just bought a home in town. It's a real fixer-upper. My husband is a carpenter, so we're pretty excited. You see, there's that word, excited. We're still on our present property and we'll be here until our new place is ready. Just wondering what the guides can tell us how the months ahead will go regarding the sale of our present property, if we will get our asking price, and if things will work out with the construction of the new home. As exciting as it all is, sometimes the anxiety is a little overwhelming. Well, gosh, absolutely. I mean, moving is one of those top two or top three things that cause a lot of anxiety. And you're not just moving, you're building and doing all this construction work, and you still have to sell a place. So let's just, ratchet that. There's that abundance. That's an abundant universe, right? So the guides are saying for you that they're really grateful you have moved forward in this direction. They know it was a big decision for you to make. And so part of you still has one foot, in this house and one foot in the other. And so you're kind of standing on that threshold of your identity, even like, wow, we're changing our lives. So, there's some anxiety in that too. It's like, how is this going to look for us? Because we've known this for so long and we've been like this for so long. So what the guides would like for you to do is really spend some time on this new house, this new identity, and see yourself living in that and how it's going to be. And when we're living here and we can walk down the street to this or we can do this. So the more you really begin to see yourselves in that new identity, in that new place, they said the flow is going to pick up pace for you and you'll get there a little quicker. And so, but the anxiety, they said, is again, it's that uncertainty. So many of us on this planet, so many humans, we have a need to control. And so when things are uncertain, we get anxious because we like to be in control. And we all do it. We all do it. And so they said to remind yourself when you're starting to feel anxious, ask yourself what you're trying to control and just allow yourself to get back into that place of trust and allow yourself to stay a little bit longer in that excitement, like you said. And the longer you can stay in the excitement, it will replace the anxiety. But I'm hearing you made the best choice for you at this time, and it's really going to serve you. And that you'll be so glad. I'm hearing you're going to be wonderfully supported with the sale of your house. The timing will work out. So they said, just keep telling yourself that things are being divinely orchestrated and it's all happening in divine timing when you start to feel anxious. It's like surrender that need to control up to that higher power and just divine timing, divine orchestration. We're changing our lives. It's a really cool thing to do, really is. It's a very brave thing to do. And they're so excited for you. If you could feel the same excitement they feel for you, you wouldn't even think about it. But I would say this part of your journey is filled with things, again, that you didn't even know you wanted. So I love it. I love that you have a little bit of the anxiety because it makes you really care more, if that makes sense. It shows how much you do care about this life change. Um, Yet they're just saying, see if you can start lingering a little longer in the excitement, but that things are going to work out for you. Okay. All right. All right. Here's a question that came to mind. I'm sure you're aware of Tom T. Moore's predictions about the Earth changes this spring and summer for the West Coast. Do you see these extreme changes happening? I know Sterling Psychic Medium does not see anything this catastrophic. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. Well, a couple years ago, it was the beginning of the year. I don't know. It was before I had actually met Tom, which, by the way, I'm going to do a show with him again in May. So I'll put that out there. We'll do another live show and talk about his books, Conversations with Gaia. If you haven't read them, it now would be a great time. I think he even has them on sale on Amazon right now. I'm not sure. But it'd be a great time because we'll be able to ask him all kinds of questions about the material that's in that book and just his conversations with Gaia. But that's coming up in May. So anyway, before I knew him, before I even knew of his predictions, I wasn't getting his newsletter. It was at the beginning of the year, and I had asked my guides. I don't know what I was talking about. Maybe somebody asked about earthquakes. I think I had a client in California at that time that asked. I'm sure that's it. And the guides did say the earthquakes would ramp up, that there would start being a lot more activity. And there would be some major ones. But they said, in addition to the earthquakes, things would be happening, like the floods, like the fires. What else have we had? Gosh, and we're looking at these avalanches now. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. And there is, so what the guides are answering this question now, there is a lot of resurfacing. There is a lot, COVID came in to change the landscape. COVID came in. a lot of people left the planet. A lot of businesses closed. It's just talk about this. Hmm, I don't. You can't even say it's a reset, um, and I don't even know if I want to say it's a purging because that may sound like it offends somebody, like it needed to go. It was bad, but it wasn't. Um, everything changed for the better ultimately. So the earth stuff that's happening, what the guides say, is more of that. COVID did a lot, yet we kind of bounced back so quickly after COVID, that yeah, now the earth is like, all right, we got to really figure this out and get climate change under control. And so earth stuff's going to start happening too, and it's kind of that same effect. It's a purging effect. It's like fire sweeping through the forest. Fire is purification. We're in the year of the fire horse. It just started. you know and But fire sweeps through and it removes old growth, but it allows for new growth to show up. And so it's kind of the same thing. The guides do say, yes, there will be more, there will be more. Will it be as catastrophic as is being predicted? I'm hearing no. Um, will people be displaced? Yes. Will it all happen this year? No. Will we see an increase this year? Yes. Um, but we've already seen it too. We're already seeing things. Will we see more and more? They're just saying it is a gradual increase. But California is not going to fall off the ocean, nor is Washington or British Columbia, from what I'm understanding. But will there be some displacement of people? Will there be some resurfacing? I'm hearing yes. I'm not getting to that massive degree that everyone needs to, have a plan to get out of the West Coast. Um, some people are meant to be there. Some people are meant to be there in the restructuring. I know Tom said Gaia told, or the creator of Gaia said there was going to be a major earthquake this week on February 18th out in the Bay Area, and there wasn't. So, will there be the next few days? I mean, all we can do, there could be so many people in that collective gathering of energy. That are changing things, that are changing some of the effects, and Gaia can always switch gears, maybe doesn't have to have such the big blow up, especially if people are already putting their positive intentions out there in a collective way. So I don't know. I'm not hearing anything definite, as in nothing's going to happen to, like Atlantis just crumbling overnight. Um, I'm not hearing it's going to be as catastrophic, yet there will be stuff. So, will it be more than what we've already, oops, grab my questions here, than we've already been seeing? Does look like it. Um, Let me see here. But that's something. I know when I told Tom that May was a better time for me to connect, he was a little worried. He said, we're already going to be in stage 3 of what Gaia said. There's 4 stages of how this is really going to roll out. And he thinks in May it's going to be too late. So I am not getting that sense of urgency myself. But that could be something, we ask in May. We'll just, maybe that's why May is the best state for me to work out, because maybe it won't be so catastrophic by then. And I don't know, it'll be interesting. We can't, in our predictions, remember any and all predictions. I mean, any psychic or any person that's tuning in to information out there, some things are really destined to happen. Some things, and most things, we're just reading the strongest trajectory. of what's most likely to happen. That doesn't mean it can't change. That's free will does exist on this planet. So we can alter the course of things. And I think somebody even asked that here on the show one time, several months ago, if enough people came together in prayer, could we change things? And yeah, absolutely. So, okay. All right. I want to ask the guides what advice they have for me. This is the start of my Saturn return. I turned 28 in December. This year's been hard, but I'm usually a positive person and want to keep my head up. Thanks. I'm a Sag Sun, Cancer Moon, Gemini Rising, Life Path 9, and a Fire Ox, just in the year of the Fire Horse. Okay. Let's see here. Well, general rule of thumb, Saturn returns, the first one comes around, we start to feel some rumblings around 27, 28, up to about 32. And in that time period, remember Saturn, taskmaster, Saturn is trying to push you out of your comfort zone because it wants you to expand. I mean, that's what Saturn does. And Saturn wants your soul to evolve. It wants to put you on your soul's path. And so it makes sure to put you out of your comfort zone if that's really what's going to shape you a little bit more for the future. And so in that first Saturn return, it's usually physical things of nature, physical changes in our lives where we move, we get married, we get divorced, we have children, we go across the country, get a new job. I mean, it could be anything like that, but it's something that's affecting us physically. It affects our physical sense of being here. So I'll see if they'll give me anything. Come on. Anything for you in particular? Can you turn around? Let me see here. Poppy's got some claws on her, and so I have to be very gentle while she gets settled. Otherwise, she digs in like she thinks she's going to fall. She'll tear me up. Okay. Let me see here what they say for you. This Saturn return for you really could be about things with houses and moving and all of that entails. But I would say during your Saturn return, you will be living in the house you want to be living in. And it might be quite a journey to get there, which you're already experiencing. Let me see here. I'm looking there. I'm not sure if your parents are still here, but one might have a health crisis that either makes you want to be there more, but there might be something there going on with a parent. So don't be surprised if you get news that way. Let me see what else. Gosh, you know what? That's interesting. I just realized my mother got diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 30, right at my first Saturn return. So something like that could happen. Fortunately, she's beat it. Let me see if there's something else that they show me. I would say it's around health and houses for you. Here, Gemini, things are probably going to take off for you when Uranus moves into Gemini full speed ahead. I think it's the end of March or sometime early April. It can get really busy. Let me see here. But I'm not getting anything in particular, but I would say hold on. Now 28, turning 28, that puts you in a 9 fire year too. when you already heard me talk about fire and how it moves through to purify, so a 9 fire year is going to do the exact same thing. Um, so it kind of feels like you're getting a double whammy at this time. A lot of change this year, but remember, it's always setting you up to live your best life. And so the way to be with that Saturn return, the way to be with that 9 fire year is to know that it's taking out what no longer serves you. And again, even if you don't know, you don't want it, it's setting you up, for this next decade. So trust in that as best you can. Trust in that, trust in that, trust in that. It's funny. I have gotten to where, say I'm shopping online and I go to buy something and I get an error message or whatever, I just like, oh, I'm not meant to buy that. And I don't try and find my way how to get this to work or that to work. I'm like, oh, that's a clear sign. It only takes one time to tell me now. And I just trust that much in the flow, in the process. Like, I'm not going to force anything. So I would say that's a motto for you to be in right now with your 9 fire year and your Saturn return. Your first one is to just go with the flow, trust in this process. It's taking you somewhere. This is happening for a reason, and let go of any efforts to make something happen. That will, I would say, make it a little easier. Okay, let me see. Okay. All right, one more question here that somebody sent in, and then I'm going to get to you guys here live today. Okay, I just learned the loss of my dear friend McLeod, who moved to Tennessee years ago. It's been over a year since I've seen her, and I'm wondering if she has any messages from the other side. Okay. Well, I am sorry you lost your friend and did not get to speak with her before she goes. Yet she comes in very quickly, so y'all must have been really wonderfully connected, because she waves her hand like this, like, don't even worry about that. You can connect with me now, is what she's saying. You don't need to worry that you didn't have those last moments together, those words. And she is telling me she has other things to do in the universe, and it was time for her to go. And she's focused on some other things. Hang on one second. Let me see here. It's so funny. I've seen one other person in spirit show me that she's part of this wise council that is, focused on the universe, focused on the earth. And your friend is also a part of a council. Now, she's focused on a particular area in earth. I don't know if she was from Alabama, but she seems to be focused on Alabama. And almost like she's offering a higher power, higher energy to the state. There seems like there was something really important to her. I don't know if that was political or something with schools. I'm not sure. But anyway, she is working with a council focused on a particular topic, it looks like, for Alabama. She's doing some big work, but she said she is happy to sit and visit with you whenever you like, and you know how to reach out to her, and you can feel her around. She's showing me, giving you a kiss on the cheek, and she's telling me your kitty cats see her. She's already tried to make her presence known. There's some kind of aroma around her. I want to say it's almost like bread baking for some reason. But it just feels like her energy is just that warm and comforting, if that makes sense. So when you smell fresh baked bread, I don't care where you are in the world, if you are out and you smell it, even if you walk by a bread shop, you can say, oh, that's just the bread shop. But she said, no, that's when you'll think of her, because she just brings that sense of comfort. Poppy is rambling too. She can't sit still. Okay. All right, you guys. Let me scroll back up to the top here. And let's see here. Okay. We get to some questions. Oh, 10 p.m. now in the UK. Well, thank you for staying up and being with us. All right. Could I ask why my health's been bad viruses the last few years? I'm eating only good fresh foods, exercise, meditation, prayers, etc. Will I soon heal? Okay. Let me see here. You know what? It's really funny. One thing I've always said is health stuff has just not been my thing. People, relationships, wealth, and health tend to be the three main topics that people like to talk about, in life. I mean, and money, yeah, wealth, health, and relationships. And I've always like, gosh, health has just not been my thing. But I can't say that anymore because the last few months have just been nuts. Um, So, what the guides are saying is, viruses are interesting. And what they're telling me to tell you, you might be doing all these wonderful things that are good for the body, good for the mind, good for the soul. Yet there's still some issues with boundaries around you that these viruses are getting their way in. So I'm hearing this has more to do about personal boundaries that you need to hold for yourself. Um, like you treat your body well. That's one thing. You need to treat the whole of your body well and the whole of your soul well. Like your body is your container for your soul, for that light, of who you are. And I'm just hearing there's some boundaries there that you need to really either establish or reinforce. And that may be uh, making some big changes. So I'm hearing for you to ask your guides to give you the strength and courage and clarity to know what that might be for you. And if you already know what that is for you, to have the strength and courage to make the choices you have to make. Because you know what? This fire horse year, it's like, oh, if you don't make it, they're going to be made for you. But if you do make them, you're going to be so supported. This is a year to choose. And this is about you having boundaries, is what I'm hearing. So hopefully that will help you. Let's see. Can my guides give me some information about why my pendulum gives me wrong answers? Oh, isn't that so frustrating? I learned a long time ago from a teacher that when you hold the pendulum, you hold it 12 inches from the heart, and it really reads that heart energy. And so often it can be misguided, especially when really attached to something. And that's why it can give wonky answers. But what you can do is write your options out on like a piece of paper, whether it's yes, no, ask again later. Think of that crazy 8 ball. Um, whatever answers you might want. Put them on different piece of paper, ball them up, and just put them maybe in two different places, and then ask your question. You don't know which is which, and then see where the pendulum goes. So when you don't know the answer it's pointing to, you're going to get a clearer read, if that makes sense. Because otherwise, it's oftentimes reading your heart, especially when we're really attached to the question. But pendulums are tricky, so you just have to get a little clever with them. Um, Let me see if there's anything else they would tell me with pendulums. And if any of you guys chiming in today have anything else with pendulums in your own experience, you are welcome to share. But that's what the guides are saying, is just to, and they said, true, the answer is already within you. And so when you're feeling disconnected from that answer, it's like the pendulum can go a little nuts. But it is a reminder to come back to self, come back to present, and to let go of the attachment to the answer and let it be revealed. I hope that makes sense. Okay. May I have a message from the masters about my connection with Anne Frank, please? Thank you. Okay. I am hearing you knew her as a small child. I'm hearing that you were a teacher for her. Um, and it looks like you were taught her a love of writing and story. So you might have been an English teacher, um, or that was your emphasis. I'm hearing that you were not caught up in being persecuted in that lifetime, but your heart broke for all that were. You especially loved her as a star student, star pupil, so to speak. There was a real connection. Like you saw something really special in her. Um, and it looks like your heart just really ached for what the families ended up going through from when it was happening. So I'm also hearing you were very intuitive in that lifetime too. You could sense the doom coming and the size of it. Looks like you wanted to save and help in some way, but saw your limitations there. And I would say you died with a real broken heart and a lot of guilt that lifetime. Mm-hmm. Real sadness there, because you love so much and you care so much. You're really kind soul is what I'm hearing. And so I'm not sure how that's influencing you this lifetime. Might be inspiring you to want to help in a different way this lifetime, but that's what they're saying. Okay, can you offer any form of guidance, help, or hope or healing on where to turn for some U direction towards the urgently required shift and change? All right, explain that again. To turn for some direction towards, you might have to explain what you're looking for there. Healing on where to turn for some U direction towards the urgently required shift and change. All right, see if you can rewrite that for me a little bit. I'm not sure what you're asking. Okay, I've been trying to see people's auras and have a lot of opportunities to practice. What do you advise to help me achieve this if I am meant to? Okay, let's see what this can say. Okay, so are you seeing them with the naked eye or are you seeing them intuitively? Because both are entirely possible. 1 second here. If you have opportunities to practice, what's really lovely is to practice. I mean, that's the main thing you can do more intuitively. Okay, naked eye. Well, naked eye is a little tougher, but you can. Again, it's going to take practice. Um, Give me 1 second. Let me see here. Let me see what they say for the naked eye. So, some people are naturally gifted with the ability to see it with the naked eye, and so they may make it seem very easy. Um, Yet we all have the ability to do that. What they're saying is it's a matter of for you slowing down and becoming extremely present. It's kind of like practice what the monks are teaching to really be in this present moment. And they said when you could do that and you focus on your breathing, they said being in the present moment is going to allow you to see the colors more easily from the naked eye. But trust the intuitive way and to know what all the colors mean. People love when you can see their aura and you tell them the different colors you see in it. And if you don't have this book, it's a really old book. You probably know Ted Andrews. But to me, he still wrote one of the best books on how to see and read the auras. And he outlines all the different colors, what they mean when they're pale, what they mean when they're muddy, um, what black holes might mean, not what you think. Um, but I have found his work to be so easy to follow. He's also got a book on how to use the pendulum, which for you who asked about the pendulum, and Ted Andrews, I mean, he wrote Animal Speak. That's probably his most famous book, but he's got a ton of books out there, and they're old, but they are good, and they're simple. They're so not complicated. They make it easy. So I would say get his book and flip through some of his exercises in there and just keep practicing. I think it's wonderful. And then, ask people if they're open to hearing what their aura is. And then when you tell them what they mean, people love it and they'll validate it. So I think that's so cool. One thing he says in the book, trees have the biggest aura on the planet because they're so connected to the earth. And if you go out at dusk or, in the evening when the sky's starting to get a little darker, if you look at the tops of the trees, you will see with your naked eye there's a white light. And in some areas, the white light is just like, it really expands, but you'll see it. And so that you'll see with your naked eye, and the more you start to practice seeing those things like that, the easier it'll be to see on people too. But even objects, you can pick up an object and just sit with that, and you will start. It's like you got to let your eyes go a little out of focus, and you'll start to see what's radiating around it. And so coming into the present moment, you can let yourself get your eyes a little out of focus. That's a wonderful place to start too. So, okay, that's fun. All right, do Akashic Records have info regarding health, treating leg issues since fall? All focus there. No spiritual experiences till this week. What smell? Socks. Can't identify who. Lost sense of smell several years ago. All right, so tell me again, you had leg issues because you fell on your leg, or this was in the fall season? And you haven't had any experiences until you could smell socks this week, but you don't know who it is. And you don't even have a sense of smell, but it got through, right? Okay, let me see. Socks. You didn't have a cat named Socks, did you? That would be a really funny way for spirit to come through. Or if you're thinking about a black and white cat with those little, not all black and white cats, but even tabbies with the little white paws that have socks on their feet, that's kind of curious. Let me see here. So tell me what your question is. I'm not sure what your question is about health. Looks like so many of us are going through some health stuff. I'm telling you, we're just getting ready for this year coming up. Hang on here. Let's see if there's anything. Okay. Thanks, Alice. Bye. Fall season, same condition the president has. Okay. Okay. So I would say when I hear that, when you tell me that, the first word I heard was circulation, which would take me to the word flow. And feeling like things aren't flowing in your life, or feeling that you need more support for things to flow in your life. So they take me from circulation to flow to support. Legs are supportive, they support us standing. And I am hearing that you need more support in your life, or you need to be open to more support in your life. Hang on here. So that support can come through real physical support around you, but also can come from divine support and you really trusting in that support. So a lot of times when we're here and we're having these human conditions, we we feel alone on the planet, or we feel like our guides have abandoned us, or um, we're not getting any help from that place in spirit. And so when we think we're not getting any help, that's what we end up creating. We manifest that. So I am hearing it's about you being open to support. Mm. Okay, so you're thinking treating the leg issues triggered spirit to come in with a dirty sock smell. Well, it could. I mean, we are talking about legs and feet, aren't we? Our ability to stand. So let me see if I can see if they'll tell me who is coming in around you. I would say, yeah, and when they wanted to get your attention, and let you know that they are there. And because what I am hearing is for you to trust in the support that's around you, the unseen support around you, and to allow them to help you. And part of them coming in with that aroma is to like announce their arrival so that you would believe it, if that makes sense. Okay. My dad first came through with his smelly work boot and cigarette odor, but this isn't him. Yeah, I don't feel like it's a person you know either. Um, I would say it's, kind of like nightmares. We have nightmares because we're meant to get our attention. There's a message in a nightmare for us, and I'm hearing it's the same thing. Um, Let me see here. All right. Let's see. Is there guidance for where, who to turn to, or go for the enormous kickstart and reset that I need? Okay. Hmm. I am hearing there's a shaman to work with. Let me see here. Give me a second. Is this a shaman you know? I would say no. This is someone new, but I'm hearing to go the shaman route. I'm hearing this information will come your way. So it could come through a friend, referral. I'm not sure, but I would be open to that. But it's someone who is gifted in shamanic work, is what I'm hearing. Let me see here. I'm just asking if there's anything else. Give me 1 second here. I was looking to see if there's any I'm hearing to call on the goddess Kali also. Kali. I'm also hearing a fast would do wonders for you. Also, the one with the leg, a fast would do wonders for you too, is what I'm hearing. Um, okay, let me see. Gardenia or jasmine, please. Yeah, that would be a beautiful smell, wouldn't it? All right. Okay, I remembered Billy B this morning of the shaman. He's across the continent, a chief, and from 20 plus years ago. Okay, then that might be where to turn. And if he's not available, I would say it's still your sign that there's a shaman ready to work with you. And I feel like your guides are orchestrating it. So, but it does look like that would be really helpful. Okay. Fasting next month. Yes. Okay. See, I'm telling you, you're already tuned in. You're already getting those messages. So if anything today, asking in this venue, I think just validated that for you. So um, that's awesome. Yeah. Perhaps he will absolutely know someone. That's exciting. Okay. All right. Let me draw. I just got some easy cards today. I'm still, I'm just taking it easy this week, y'all. All right, let's see. How about we're going to do a card for the Lunar New Year and then just one in general. Oh, for the Lunar New Year. Shine your light. Do not dim your light. Embrace every part of you, no matter what others may say. Be brave and have the courage to be different. Be you. Well, that is, you know what? When you look at the fire horse, bold independence, choose freedom. This is your identity, and who we are at our core is light. And it's just really time for you to stand in that. All right, the other supporting card I got, it's so funny, reflection. Reflect. Look into the mirror of your soul. You have the answers. Again, that already came through today, too. What have you learned that can help you move forward? Well, I am so grateful to share all of this with you, and thank you for showing up today and being interested in this work, sharing stories from your journey. I just, yeah, my heart is full. So thank you. Y'all have a beautiful weekend. We got a lot of planetary stuff happening today. Mercury retrograde next week, and then who knows what's next. But anyway, y'all hang tight. It's the year of the fire horse. Think purification, think freedom, think identity. And you get an opportunity to make some big changes this year. So, okay. Thanks, you guys. I will see you next week, and be Wednesday evening. I'll be here Wednesday evening next week. Okay. All right. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.